Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. And yes, I know you don't need a lathe to run a successful fish room, but I thought I would give a bit of the background story of how I ended up with one, and how, at this point, I actually can't really imagine not having one, because I find it extremely useful in so many of the things that I do. And also, I was feeling a little bit bad about moving all the machining and fabrication stuff over to the new channel. I have a lot of videos that are scheduled to come up, and I was planning on putting this one there, but it would probably be, about a month from now that it would actually get posted, because I didn't want, have a time crunch. I wanted to, not end up being stressed for time with the two channels. So I'm going to put it here. Now, years ago, when I first started the business, I would get requests from people with old tanks with broken parts that they couldn't get parts for anymore because, well, they were old. And if I could make the part, that would give me the chance of getting the contract. And I know it's a bit of a justification initially, because it'd only be like one or two of these things, but I would make the part, fix the tank for them, and it would be up and running, and would more often than not end up with the maintenance contract. And it doesn't take too many of those over a reasonable amount of time to actually end up paying for the lathe. So that's how, like I said, I justified it initially. But also I found as time progressed, I would get these build requests for putting tanks in these really, really difficult to put in spots where standard fittings just don't work. And it really came in handy for that, because I could make anything to fit anywhere out of anything. So it was, in the long run, it really did end up paying for itself, and then some. And it is certainly just something I actually really enjoy having. Now, this fitting I'm making here is probably the biggest stretch, I think, for having a lathe, because as you saw at the beginning of this clip, or these clips I should say, that little fitting assembly that I had there is about $3, and it would easily make a fitting for this that would fit that hose, and I could put it on there. It would take a few seconds and it would be done. But I thought I would go through the steps, so I wanted to show you guys the process of making a custom fitting that you can make it fit anywhere, have any kind of size, and have go from any piece to any piece. So this is a piece of PVC, and the reason why I chose PVC, even though it is, as you can see here, not the best to machine, that fitting that I keep putting on there is not the one that's on the pond at the moment, but it is the exact same fitting, and I'm going to machine this end down so that it comfortably fits. Like, it has to be actually loose, which is weird because I usually do a lot of friction fits. This one actually has to fit on and come off, because there has to be room for the PVC glue. So it's just a simple matter of moving this down until, like right now it's comfortable, maybe a little bit tight, so I'll take another thou off, and then I will chamfer the end, and that part's, it doesn't take long to do. I mean, obviously this is, I think, 1.5 inch solid rod PVC. I don't remember when I bought it. It was a long time ago. To buy it, it would be expensive. I had obviously picked it up for a job, so this is an offcut, even though it was, almost 2 feet long. There you go. See, nice, and it fits nicely. And now it's a simple matter of flipping around, and this part is even more flexible because, well, the hose is flexible. This is a simple matter of taking this down to something that I can squeeze the hose over. And then the nice thing is, PVC, even though it's not as easy to machine as Delrin, you can see how much I'm taking off here at once. It's just, like, this just goes down so fast. You did end up with an awful lot of, spaghetti pieces of PVC, but it is easy to deal with. And you can see very short order how quickly this is done. It took me probably about 10 to 15, no, actually maybe a little bit, 15 to 20 minutes in total to make this one part, which is obviously a fair amount more than it would take just to put on the fitting, but I didn't actually have it in the shop, so I'd have to go out and buy one. And again, this is like I said, extreme justification for this sort of thing. But as you can see, it doesn't take long, and then you can start making interesting things as far as trying to get stuff that will not necessarily fit specifically where you want it. You can start making custom aquariums to fit specific spots, so even if it's just for your house, and then you can machine the fittings to fit almost anything. So as you see, I've done a little bit more work on this. I've extended the hose part, and I have machined down the larger flange part so that it is now the same diameter as the outside of the elbow. So once it seats in there, it'll just be a natural extension of it. So it makes it look a lot nicer, and like I said, this is going to be a very solid part. Now I am going to run a hole through this, obviously, and I put a caliper on here just to see what the outside diameter was, and then I got a drill bit. Initially, I thought that this was more than enough of a gap, so this is a 1/2 inch drill bit, and that would give me a lot of flow through the pipe without restricting it too much. But I just touched it on here just to get the drill bit started, to get the hole started, and I thought that the wall thickness was not thick enough. I was a little bit concerned because I am going to put a clamp on this. I didn't really want to have an issue long term of squishing the fitting where this is going to fit on. I don't want it to end up being crumpled, and then if that happens, it will form a gap, and then I'll have water spraying out. So even though the flow rate of this is really tiny and the chances are minimal, I decided to go down one size of drill bit. It's not going to make any real difference for flow because this is going to be a very slow flow rate anyway. And you see, this is real time, so this shows you how easy it is to drill through this material. I always say that PVC is not the best machining material, but it's perfectly fine for this sort of stuff. As long as you don't mind that little bit of odd fitting, finish to it, it is easy to work with. And the hole's drilled. This part's done. I'm going to do a little bit more sanding on it off camera, and it's just a simple matter now of putting it on. Hey, I wanted to show you guys, like I said, the reasons why I have a lot of the stuff I do. Besides really enjoying making things, there was actually at one point in time a financial burden to get this stuff, and there was not just a justification for having it, but it did turn out that because of having it, it allowed me to get jobs that I would not normally be able to get. So there you go, part done, backstory finished too, and it's a simple matter now of tidying it up a little bit, even though none of this is going to get seen. You can see how thin that would have been. It's probably strong enough, but this is a really, well, not really old, but I'd say this piece of PVC has been sitting in the shop probably for about 10 years. I picked it up as part of a job, as I said before. But now it's just a simple matter of gluing this on, and it is really easy. And of course, I'll put the hose on as well. There's going to be a final clip. I'm going to show you what it looks like, and I mean, it does look a little bit better than having the other assembly of footings that would take to make this work as well. But again, this is, like I said, I just wanted to show you guys the process. So definitely leave lots of comments. Let me know what you think about all this. And please go over and visit the new channel. It's going to be a fair amount of metal machining and woodworking to begin with. And this is a really bad placement for a leaf. I didn't notice it, so I didn't even bother showing the rest of this. I'm going to put the hose on off camera because it is all pretty much blocked. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Pop over to the other channel if you have an interest in this sort of stuff, and I will get on to aquarium machining stuff there at some point in time. But again, like I said, this is just getting started. So there you go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.